Hey everybody, it's Daryl back again. So I had a subscriber ask the question about how I stretch the fence to get it tight. There's lots of ways to do this. This is the way I do it. I will explain the other way that I did for my fence over there at the house, but the way I'm going to explain it to you today is the easy way that I do it right now, and that's using my four-wheeler and two come-alongs. One's a chain, one's a regular cable. To me, it's important to use two. You want to pull it tight from the top and you want to pull it tight from the bottom. If you just use one, you got varying results when it comes down to it. But I'll show you what I got. You can buy one of these. I made this what is expensive as lumber is right now. You might could buy one. They're about as cheap as you can build one. But all it is, if you got scrap lumber around the house, like for this right here, all you need is one to be 30 inches long. 4 bolts, 4 nuts, 4 washers. I've lost one of my washers, so we have only got 3 washers. But I'll show you what we got. Now this is the piece of wire that I cut off or had left over from where I did my other pool. But that's all it is. It's a 2x4, 2 2x4s, and you sandwich the wire in between it. I probably shouldn't turn it like that, but that's what it looks like. And that's all there is to it. Let me try to hide behind the corn so the wind ain't blowing. The big important thing when you're doing this is to tighten those bolts down good and tight. You don't want that 2x4 slipping, because if you do, then it's just going to keep sliding and sliding and sliding. If you've ever messed with any of this wire, you know it's wrapped around. You got vertical wires and then you got the horizontal wires. The vertical wires, if you pull them hard enough, they'll slide. So what you want to do is make sure you get it clamped good and tight on your top main wire, good and tight on the bottom part, and good and tight in the middle. And when you pull against it, no matter how hard you pull against it, as long as that 2x4 don't slip, your wires stay good and tight. And what I always do is I start at the far end and I'll put my staples in or my wire in, whatever I'm doing for my poles, and then work my way back. And then when I get to the other end out here, then I cut a wire, get the pieces off of it, and then I'll wrap it, and I'll show you how I do all that in this one video. But let's get everything hooked up and I'll show you what we're doing. So this is what the board looks like apart. It's just 2 2x4s, equal lengths. And then what I did was I just put these 2 2x4s together, put a clamp on each end, and just drilled a hole the size of the bolts you want to use. Now when you put these bolts in here, you want to use, I guess they call them lag bolts. Let me knock them out right quick. I don't know if you can tell it or not, but these are the bolts that's got the square heads on the top. And the reason why you want to use those is that square part will actually, once you knock it into the wood, it will actually lock in there a little bit better. As long as you don't over tighten it and get it to slip one time, it's there. And you don't really have to worry about, you know, trying to have extra wrench and all that other stuff. If you can't find those, you can use bolts that are smooth. You're just going to have to figure out a way to get something on it where you can hold it tight. But I'm fixing to bolt it to the thing here. We'll show you how to do all that, and then we'll show you how I hook my come-alongs up and how we tighten this fence up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull it tight, and when it's all said and done, we're going to wrap around this pole right here. And you can see we got 2 poles here. This one here is just more support for this one right here, that way it don't lean over once we get everything pulled tight on it. So we're going to put our board right around here, and we're going to get our come-along and all that stuff hooked up on it. But it's real simple to hook all this up. This board, I originally built it for a taller fence, so of course it's going to stick up some. But you just line your holes up, push it together. Put your nuts and your washers on here, or your washers and your nuts. Tighten it down. Now I always try to put this board in between these two runs right here. You can put it on top of these pieces here, but it won't hold as good because you don't have the surface area when it comes to getting it good and tight. I've lost a nut somewhere. But we'll get these tightened down good. I'll find that other nut if I can find it, and we'll get it tightened down good and tight. I might take this one off. I'll find that other nut. But all we're gonna do now is tighten this down, get it good and tight, and we'll hook our come-alongs and stuff up. So what we got here is a chain hoist, and we've also got a regular wire hoist. A come along is what they're normally called. And what I like to do is hook one where the chain goes around that way, and then hook one where it goes around the other way, and that keeps it from twisting as much. Now what you want to do is hook one of them up as high as you can get it, and the other one down as low as you can get it. Which you can see, there ain't gonna be a whole lot of difference in the height of those, but it does make a difference as far as pulling it good and tight. So let me get it hooked up on that too. Now what I normally do, since I'm using the four-wheeler, is I'll back up and get it as tight as I can with doing that, and then I'll ratchet it the rest of the way. Now with me using this four-wheeler, I can't pull it but so tight. For one, the four-wheeler don't weigh but so much, and two, I don't want to jack my rack up. But I can get it tight enough to do what I need to do. Get y'all set up. But you can already see a difference in the wire. I got to go down there and unhook one of my poles. I got the wire looped over one of the T-poles. See that? I went through and stood all the wire up. That way everything's leaning where it needs to be at. And now I'll come over here and tighten the bottom up a little bit more. And now you can see how to throw a phone off of a thing. But see how good and tight that is now? Now I'll go through, put my staples and my wraps in, and work my way back down this way. Maybe the wind won't be too bad. So what we got over here, what I use for my staples, I got some of these. And then for my wires, I'll show them to you when we get ready to put them on. But when I go put staples on, the first thing I do is I step on the wire and push it down as far as I can get it to go. And I drive that staple down at an angle which pulls it even tighter down that way. Now with my poles, being this is the first pole I'm going to put it on, I'm actually going to put a staple on every one of these. You can go every other one, and the ones on further down, that's what I'll do. But for this one here, I'm going to go every one. If you got dirt piled up on each side of your stuff, it's always a good thing to get your ground level too. You know what, I'm gonna do every other one. Well, I'm gonna do the first three from the bottom, and then I'll go every other one. A staple is not something you want to leave on the ground, because they will poke into the tire of your vehicles. I'm gonna put one more right here. Like that, and that's how I staple my wires. So let's go to a pole and I'll show you how we do those too. Alrighty, so these wires that I've got, this is what they look like. And they only work on the T-pole as long as it's facing that way towards the wire. And this is the tool I use to tighten them up. Now I always start at the bottom, just like before. I'll push that wire down to the ground, and then I'll take this piece and I'll hook it like that. It's always a pain in the butt to get these bottom ones going, because there's not very much room to work with as far as it goes with the twist ties. Now you could probably leave it like that, but I want to get it tighter. I'll try to get you a close-up of what I'm doing on the next one. Like I said, these bottom ones are a pain in the butt, because you don't have but so much room to deal with, because the wire's closer together down on the bottom. The gnats is terrible today. Now that's not the best in the world, but it's gonna have to do for now. So let me see here. Let me see if I can't get y'all a little closer in on the action. Now if these are in the way, which they'll be at the top, you can slide them over a little bit. Just by hitting on them. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. But you can bump them wires over and out of the way. Now if you can stuff that wire under one of those cleats and tighten it up good and tight, that wire won't, or the fence won't go anywhere. But I used the round part just to hook under it like that. And then twist it around. This thing has a hole in it, so you can then twist the wire back around. And as you can see, it's a little bit easier to do when you got a little bit more room to play with. But see how good and tight that is right there. Let's do one more up top. Now it probably wouldn't hurt to put 2 more on there, but I'm just gonna put 1 more at the top. This pole's crooked. Try to get a little bit tighter than what it is, but it ain't wanting to cooperate. So just have to go with what we got. But as you can see, that's good and tight. And you can look down the fence right here and tell that it's good. So we're gonna go on down the fence way. Like I said a while ago, if your T-poles are facing that way, it won't work. So I'm gonna make up some wires for that, but we'll do a little time lapse of me working my way down the thing here. Now, when you get down here close to where your termination's gonna be at, see how the fence is raised up off the ground just a little bit because of how we've got it pulled tight. It's important to step on that and get it down on the ground as close to the ground as you can get it. I'm probably gonna come back through and fix me some kind of spikes and put in along the bottom of the fence, because the biggest thing it is we don't want the fence to be able to kick out and something to get out from under it. I'm not so much worried about something coming from inside going out, that other than as much as I'm worried about something coming from the outside going in. So let's put some staples in this and get ready to wrap this stuff. So there we go. We got all of our staples in. What we're going to do now or next is go through and we'll cut these wires and we'll wrap them. But we're going to do that on a different video, so this one ain't so long. So if you got any questions about what I've done on this one, leave them in the comments below. But you can see that's a very big difference from what it was a while ago. And like I said, these poles, like that one right there and those other two down there, I'm gonna make those other ones, the T-posts that is up there, that are backwards from what I need them to be as far as putting those wire pieces on it. I'm gonna make some wire pieces to go on those. The reason why I've done what I did is because I'm gonna run a hot wire on the inside and a hot wire on the outside of the fence, and I alternated my T-posts. That way my insulators will fit and I can run my wire like I need to. So that's the theory behind that. I haven't tried it out yet, but that's the reason why I did what I did. So like I said, next video, we're gonna wrap around the poles, and I'll show y'all how to do it on a separate video. If you're new to the channel, how about hitting subscribe? If you like the video, how about giving me a thumbs up? And I think that's it for this video. We love you, we appreciate you, and we'll see y'all on the next one.